Thank you very much. So I will make a small presentation of the battlefield and also of the history. The Battle of Waterloo was on the 18th of June in 1815 in Belgium. So Belgium is a small country, but regarding my colleagues and the reenactors, Belgium is also a country I could be able to compare with Poland because we are situated between main countries as Germany, as France, and so we were always invaded. Even if maybe the number of disaster and the number of people dead during all the wars was not so to compare with your country, but it is a little bit the same. So in 2000, we decided to refurbish the battlefield, but I will give you some words about history, because speaking about Waterloo, it's always speaking about Napoleon. Even if he was defeated, is always a kind of symbol in Europe. For you, maybe he delivered a part of Poland from the Prussians, so from the ancestors of the Germans. For other countries, it's a kind of invader. Some compare it with Hitler. So that's difficult when you explain history, to be cautious to explain history regarding all our people coming the people coming from abroad to our memorial. So a small part of history is also that Belgium didn't exist at that time. We were part of the Netherlands, and the Netherlands and other countries had agreement with Great Britain, with Prussia, with Russia, not against France, but against Napoleon, because all this country said that Napoleon was a kind of invader, and they decided to ban him. So that's when we speak about the Battle of Waterloo and the Waterloo of the Belgium campaign. That's not against France, because there was a Congress in Vienna 1 year before, and France was represented by the ambassador, and he was in fact the responsible of Louis XVIII at that time. So that's totally different. But even when we had the big reenactment for the 200-year commemoration 3 years ago, we were not able to put the responsible of France, Great Britain, and Germany together. And that's very special because we did it, for example, for the Second World War with Germany and France, but never for Napoleon. So Napoleon had many conquests in Europe. Then he was exiled after the catastrophic Russian campaign in 1812, and then he was exiled in a small island near Italy, and then he came back 1 year later, and that's the consequences of the Battle of Waterloo. We have approximately in 1 day on a battlefield of 4,000 square meters, so that's a very small battlefield. Three countries or three persons. First, Napoleon who tried to attack the defense of Wellington, so of the English army. And then you have Blücher, who was the commander-in-chief of the Prussian, who was a little bit, approximately 30 kilometers far away from there, but he gave guarantees to Wellington that he would come at the end of the day. Wellington has always the same strategy, that's to try to find a battlefield with a ridge, and he could protect his soldiers at the rear side of the ridge avoiding the bullets of cannon. And Napoleon at that time had maybe less soldiers, but more cannon, so he was, on paper, more powerful. But due to the bad weather during 2 days before the battle, the effect of bowling of the cannons was not the same. So he couldn't go through a victory mainly through this problem. Napoleon thought if he could reach Brussels, which is 15 kilometers far away from Waterloo, that he could handle with the other countries and come back to France. So we are at an important crossroad between France and the Netherlands. We have 2 airports, we've got ring roads, we've got a name internationally known, and some said that the day after the battle, they invented the mail coach coming to see the battlefield, and that's the first organized traveling going to battlefield. That's one of the legends. So this is the state of the battlefield before. There were private owners who had constructed restaurants, hotels, and so that was, and you see all the cars there, and that was difficult to have a battlefield, even if the battlefield is preserved by a law of 1914. So the idea, and you see at the rear side, there was a kind of karting place, so not good for regarding the idea of a cemetery and of respect of people. So we tried together with the government and with the Walloon region to change the impact on the battlefield for the future generation. You see some pictures. We have the importance of the image, but when we try to explain the history, the main people want to go to the Lion's Mount to climb on this monument, but because it's symbolic, but they do not want to learn. So we change completely the way of acting, and we oblige the people to see the new memorial before seeing before climbing the Lion's Mount. This is a kind of obliged way to emphasize the impact of history on our visitors. For sure, so the Lion's Mount is the symbol of the Netherlands. This is where the Prince of Orange, so the future king of the Netherlands, was injured during the battle. That's only this place a symbol, and we remain it when we became Belgium. So you see the several aspect. We have a big panorama, so that's a big painting, which was imagined for the 100th anniversary of the battle, just before the First World War, which is a kind of ancestor of the movie with an idea of 3-dimension painting and also a floor plan. Then we start the integration first of a park place outside the center of the battlefield, maybe as you intend also to do it with the new renovation of your site, parking for cars, for buses, for bicycles. And we also added one of the most important farm, and we were obliged to buy it back to private owners. And this farm is nowadays a part of the attraction because the farm were considered during the battle as a castle. So you see the huge work, and the decision was to put the memorial under the ground to maintain the landscape free, and also to facilitate for the guides to explain the battlefield, the preserved battlefield. And we stopped the main road crossing the battlefield, and it's nowadays a pedestrian zone. So we only maintain, the exception is one building, which was the first museum of the battlefield, which is now a restaurant, a cafeteria, but also a place for congress, for incentive for companies, for example, when they can have a meeting for 500 persons in total. So this is the place where it is, and all the buildings in the first part of the image are nowadays demolished. So this is a picture of the new activities. This is also the idea of the memorial. The investment is 40 million euros, because we had, as I said, to buy all the buildings in the surrounding to private owners, and for sure it's not cheap. And after that, we construct the memorial, which is a special memorial inside inside the ground, and we try to be more green, more ecologic when we were thinking about the project. So, for example, we use geothermy for the heating of this memorial. We have also a special vegetation wall at the entrance, and inside you will find a shop, you will find the welcome zone, you will find a conference room, and also a place for temporary exhibitions. And the offices are in the ground. So you see some ideas of the coming inside, one with steps and the other one for more disabled people, the way that you enter the building coming from the park places. So we start thinking about the idea of scenography, and we asked to specialists from several countries who fought during the battle to be part of these scientific committees, and we had people from France, from Germany, from Belgium, from the Netherlands, and also from England, and they decide all the text and all the principle of the scenography inside. Then the idea was to launch a big film, a 4-dimensional film, because we do not have, as for the First or Second World War, pictures of the battle, so we were obliged to imagine something that people would be able to understand, and I will show you the idea of that film now. So you have several special zones. The idea is to start with a kind of explanation of the situation at that time. And you have in the underground building 1,700 square meters dedicated to the memorial and to the public. And we created a link together with all the buildings, and moreover with the panorama and the Lion's Mount, with a kind of tunnel that you can reach the other attractions, staying inside the underground building. The different themes that we try to explain, it's first of all the political context, then the way to understand the battle itself, the fourth dimension experience, and then Europe after kingdoms till the First World War. Because some people said the positive way of thinking, they say that the alliance against Napoleon is in fact the first step of European Union. For other, they say that they give too much power to Germany, and the consequences of the Battle of Waterloo was the German Empire. So you see some ideas of the visit. We try to think about several levels. That's the audio guide. So the cartel, the explanation on each part of the visit. The multimedia in 4 languages. The 3 languages we are speaking in Belgium: French, Flemish, and German, and for sure English. Then we have personalized the audio guide, and you can choose, for example, your own soldiers, giving your personal explanation, and at the end of the visit, you would be able to send you by email your own visit, and then you've got a summary of what you made, of what you saw during the traveling in our museum. And so you have a kind of copy of history, of your own history. So the other part, which was also important, was the refurbishment of the Hougoumont farm, which was a huge part. And then we create also a film inside that I give you also, but that's totally different. That's more emotional when we speak about the scenography of the farm. I will show you. So the company is the same as the company that created the scenography here in your memorial. The other difficulties of the battlefield is that you had at the beginning two headquarters, one of Wellington, 4 kilometers in the city of Waterloo, and the other of Napoleon a little bit further. And so we had to create something to link the museum. Therefore, we created a kind of general promotion of all the sites, just only have one folder to have the general promotion of the site, and the other one was to create a kind of combined ticket, the famous Pass 1815, that we can, that the public can use 1 year. The pass is valid 1 year, and so you can visit the attraction when you want. So the headquarters of Wellington is nowadays in renovation. It's open. One of the part of the museum is open mainly. The other one has to be refurbished, and we hope to refurbish it next year. The other one is the headquarters of Napoleon. Together with the Wellington Museum, we made a difference between the new architecture of the memorial and the modern site. But in the two headquarters, you have old artifacts, also old paintings, which is totally different. And we emphasize the way of old bricks and old building. And so this is more accessible, for example, for young pupils, for people who want to see another side of the life. And also, for example, what did the citizens during the battle? Some were sent to the battlefield because in Belgium some people were for Napoleon, and others they were bored about the fact that during 20 years they lost their sons, and so they were happy that it was an end at the war between England and France, and it was the last time that they fought against each other. So after that they became allies. Then we had the last attraction. Oh yes, I didn't mention, this is a farm where we have the brewery of the Waterloo beer, which also promote the battlefield abroad. And so this is a link and they have also a small scenography about in this farm, because it was a former hospital. And they create this small scenography of an exhibition, permanent exhibition, on the way they acted for surgery, for bring the people there, because it was the first time that they used ambulance, and they created ambulance on the battlefield. So, and also the evolution of surgery from that time. Thank you for your attention.